Dr. John Mathers from the University of Stirling. A few weeks ago this arrived in the All in the Mind inbox. I'm a community psychiatric nurse in Manchester, and everybody I know who works in mental health is raving about a new book by Anthony Scally called Eyebrows and Other Fish. Anthony Scally has schizophrenia, and his book is gaining cult status among patients. The teaching and nursing professions are also using it to improve their practice. Now that is not a typical schizophrenia story. You've got to talk to this man and hear his compelling tale. So we did. Eyebrows and Other Fish is the story of Anthony Scally's adult life, from his first job as a technician to his diagnosis with schizophrenia and his experience of life with the condition. From Manchester, he told me why he decided to write the book.
Partly it was to get my side of the story across, to redress the balance. There was so much I didn't like about what was happening in mental health. I decided, put pen to paper, and I'm really pleased that it's taken off.
And back then, when you first started writing, who were you aiming it at? Were you thinking about health professionals working in the field, or were you thinking about other families dealing with mental health problems?
I self-published it initially, and it was just to be for a select few people, certain members of my own family, certain members of the mental health team that work with me at the moment. And I was convinced by some of those people that it was better than that, and started looking for a publisher.
And reading the book, there are very, very personal memories in it, and which at times must be very painful. What was it like for you writing these? Was that hard?
It wasn't always easy, difficult to write sometimes when there's tears in your eyes, thinking about childhood and unhappy memories. But once things were down, it did act as a catharsis.
And you repeat many times in the book that you were determined to be as honest as possible. Where did this drive to have this really sort of true record of your life experience come from?
Well, for somebody that's allegedly paranoid, there is a lot of personal information in the book. I admit that. I'd be conning myself if it was anything less than honest. And I want to help the medical profession. I want to help others. I want empathy. I want understanding. And if you're going to skirt around certain issues and not mention them or leave them out, I don't think you can achieve that.
Now, you give a graphic account of when you were first told that you had a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia.
It's schizophrenia, son. I was stunned, absolutely dumbfounded. I remember thinking, blimey, so that's what they're up to, is it? Categorising me as mentally ill. Now I have no credibility. Not just mentally ill, but a schizophrenic. It couldn't get any worse than that. You both know it's nonsense, don't you? I asked. Pete said, face it, our kid, you're a schizo.
Now, it's clear that you were very shocked. What did you think schizophrenia meant when you were first told about it?
I had all the misconceived ideas that lots of people do have about schizophrenia. The thing about personality disorder, the thing about multiple personalities, violence being an aspect, and people not looking after themselves and being, well, scruffy or unkempt. It was all negative stuff, and it's not until such time as you are diagnosed with schizophrenia, or it is about you and yours, that you look into it and see that these ideas and these beliefs are just totally wrong.
And you don't hear voices, and you comment that a lot of people assume that if you have this diagnosis that you must. So how did the illness manifest itself with you at the beginning?
Although I wasn't aware of it, because the book is written with the benefit of hindsight, I was picking up on certain things that people said, things that people did. I was picking up on car registration number plates, which started off quite simply by just looking for cherished or sought after plates on my journeys into work. But then I started making all kinds of judgments about drivers and the colours of the vehicles, whether they'd bought the car, whether the car was on finance, how they voted, all kinds of leaps in judgment about the drivers just simply by the codes. And as I say, I wasn't actually aware that I was doing it, and I certainly wasn't aware that it was any cause for concern.
You paint this really vivid picture of the thoughts sort of really racing around your head. Is this what you wanted people to understand, to know sort of what it felt like for you?
Absolutely, yeah. The book is a ringside seat. There's vivid descriptions of when I was encountering psychosis, but it's a ringside seat on my life, if you like.
Do you still find that there are misperceptions about schizophrenia which carry on being, the way people are portrayed in the media and so on? Do you still find that's continuing?
Absolutely. Things are better than they ever were, but they're not ideal. It's the last taboo, if you like. It's an often silenced subject and people don't talk about it. There is so many misconceived ideas, and half of it is unlearning what people think they've already known.
You spent some time in a psychiatric ward, and you talk about the fear of spending that time there, and in some cases the less than ideal care that you did receive. In your book, what message would you want to give to people working in the field?
I want them to see the person as the person and not just the illness or the symptom. I want them to take a holistic approach when dealing with people with mental health issues. I want them to see that people have things that happen to them in real life that are not imagined, that run alongside of any illness, just as if you had diabetes. Things happen.
Are you optimistic about the future?
I am optimistic. Things are better than they ever were, but they're not ideal.
What sort of things would you like to change now?
I'd like to see mental health workers being fully aware of their roles and responsibilities. I don't like the idea that some mental health workers and care coordinators seem to think that the buck stops with the psychiatrist, that he or she has the final say in the overall care package of the mental health patient.
Anthony Scally. And if you want any more information on this or anything else in the programme, you can ring the BBC Action Line on 0800 0